Every night, it's the same. Lights out, covers pulled tight. I lie perfectly still and just listen. And every night, it comes. A dry, rhythmic scratching from under the bed. Like sandpaper on old wood. It's become my nightly metronome, the sound that tells me the monster is where it's supposed to be. But tonight, it stopped. In the sudden silence, a new sound bloomed. A thin, ragged whisper. It was a man's voice, and he was praying. I held my breath, every muscle tensed. The voice was coming from directly beneath me. The words were a frantic tumble, like someone who knows they're out of time. Deliver me. Please, don't let it find the door. A chill that had nothing to do with the night air iced over my chest. The monster under my bed was afraid of something else. Fear has rules. The thing under my bed is supposed to scare me. That's the agreement. Tonight, the rules broke. The man's whispered prayer became a desperate, garbled stream. I couldn't make out the language, only the raw, universal cadence of someone who knows they're about to die. Barely finding my voice, I whispered back, "Who's there?" A choked sound from below replied, "Don't answer it." Answer what? The house itself seemed to lean in, listening. The usual groans of the pipes went silent. The tick of the alarm clock on my nightstand became deafeningly loud. The man's prayer stuttered into something like quiet sobs. And in that moment, I realized the terror gripping my gut wasn't for me anymore. It was for him. My hand, shaking, slid over to my phone on the nightstand. I swiped up, turned on the flashlight. The cone of white light sliced across the dark room. I moved slowly, trying not to make the bed springs creak. I edged to the side of the mattress, my heart hammering against my ribs, and angled the light under the bed. There were no claws, no gaping maw of teeth. It was a man, curled into a tight ball, his clothes threadbare and torn. His eyes were wide with a primal terror fixed on the far corner of my room. He flinched away from the light. No, turn it," he rasped. "Don't let it see me." I angled the beam away, bouncing the light off the underside of my mattress instead. "Who are you?" I asked. "No one," he said, his voice trembling. "I thought this was an anchor." "An anchor!" I got out, he whispered, shaking uncontrollably. Past the buzzing. Past the yellow. The place between. My blood ran cold. "Between what? Rooms that aren't rooms," he sobbed. "Halls that don't end. It hears escape. It follows. It wants to unmake me." His wild stare never left that corner. Too. That's when the faint hum from the refrigerator downstairs began to swell, distorting into the aggressive buzz of a million fluorescent lights. The beam from my phone didn't dim. It started to glitch, stuttering. The air in the room dropped 10 degrees. I saw my breath plume in front of me, even though the window was shut tight. And the corner he was watching started to bend. The 90-degree seam where the walls met warped, as if I was seeing it through water. The lines smeared. They didn't agree. The sharp, electric smell of ozone and damp carpet filled the air. The man let out a pathetic whimper. It found the door. The buzzing came in waves now, and with each pulse, reality itself seemed too thin. Dust motes lifted from the floor and just hung there, a beat behind gravity. I angled the phone higher, but the beam was shuddering on and off, like frames were missing from my vision. "Can you move?" I asked him. "If I move," he whispered, it ceased to wake. Darkness began to spread from that impossible corner. It wasn't a shadow being cast. It was shadow as a thing. It poured along the baseboard, a thick, inky liquid. It reached the leg of my bed and then it rose tall. Joint-strong figure with a featureless face like unfinished, smooth plastic. A blast of static tore at my ears. The whole mattress beneath me started to hum with a sickening vibration. The thing glided across the floor. An arm extended pale, white and far too long. Its fingers slipped through the man's shoulder as if he were made of water. He arched his back in a silent, agonized scream. The floorboards rippled. The solid oak turned to black quicksand right under him. He began to sink not out from under the bed, but down into the floor itself. There were no splinters, no cracking wood. The boards just flexed and accepted him. He reached a hand up his palm, facing me, and his eyes met mine for one final, horrifying second. He wasn't asking for help. He was begging me to end it. Then he was gone. The floorboards smoothed over. They would grain perfectly normal again. The blank-faced thing tilted its head, as if listening for a sound in another room. Slowly, the cold ebbed away. The static in my ears thinned to nothing. The corner of the room unbent itself, degree by painful degree. The smell faded. The entity turned the smooth oval where its face should have been toward me. It paused. There was no malice in its posture, only a detached, clinical curiosity. Then it receded, folding itself back into the geometry of the corner, and vanished. Silence. Real, ringing silence. Real, ringing silence. The kind that hurts. It didn't move for what felt like hours. Then the compulsion hit me. I had to check. I had to make it ordinary again. I lowered my phone, shining the light back under the bed. Dust bunnies. A lost sock. A single, forgotten coin. Relief crashed over me in a wave, and my lungs finally dragged in a shuddering breath. But in that instant, the phone's light hiccuped for just one single frame. In that split second, a pale, featureless face filled the entire screen, just inches from my own. If your house starts to hum the wrong way, if you see the corners of your rooms bend when they shouldn't, you need to report it. Subscribe for the next case file. And if you've seen the place between the veil, leave a comment below. We compare notes. Here, stay safe.